What's up guys, the Lazy Goldmaker here. So we are looking at the Burning Crusade again today, and obviously the initial launch burst is over and profits are falling. So I'm going to talk about sort of the steady state of gold making going forward and what you can do and what you shouldn't do. So obviously during the first part of an expansion, the profit is really high in many different markets, and then generally over time it trends down. And one thing that's new sort of with the Burning Crusade servers this time around is that they're a lot larger, and mega servers means mega competition. There's more players competing with you in any given market, so that means the profits are generally going to be lower. And this is something that I'm sure a lot of you have been feeling lately. I've been getting a lot of comments about profits. Now, that being said, even on retail where you have the completely region-wide auction house, for stackable items, there's still a lot of profit to be found in markets with very, very high competition. So gold making is not dead, but it is different than, maybe a little bit different than what it was the last time we had the Burning Crusade, and definitely different from what it was during the launch weeks. Yeah. So one thing I've been getting a lot of comments about is prospecting. Yeah, this is the current state of prospecting. We can see here the raw gem profit is like 20%, and then maybe 40-50% after cutting. A couple of weeks ago we were looking at like 150% here, really high profits after cutting. This is sort of a little on the low side compared to what I've seen before, but generally speaking, profit margins are going to shrink. They almost never go to zero for prospecting because it's so time consuming. We can also see this reflected in the prices, with the profit higher for fell iron ore because it's a lot more time consuming. You have to do a lot more ore. Ore is half the price, so you spend double the amount of time per gold essentially. So with prospecting right now, if you're doing like 500 ore, you're definitely gambling because you have no way of knowing how many red gems you are getting. And that is a very, very large portion of the value as far as the rare gems go. Like 40% of the value is from your living rubies. So if you get like one living ruby too little for like a small batch of ore, you're gonna lose gold on that, guaranteed. And then the same is true for the oranges, and even for the uncommon gems, a very large portion of the value is from the garnets. So that's just how it is. Pay attention, but at these prices, if you're doing small volume, you're gambling. This is now a high volume play. You have to do lots of ore, and you have to be really, really picky about what price you purchase your ore on. Pay attention to ore prices, buy when it's cheap, prospect and sell on big raid nights so that you can eke out a little bit of extra profit on the sales. That is sort of what you want to do with prospecting going forward, and then you can increase these numbers a little bit. And that is actually going to make a huge difference over hundreds or thousands of ore. Now, one market that is coming sort of back now is material flipping, which is one of my favorite markets in general. So now that material prices have stabilized a little bit on most of the TBC materials, you can now start flipping the TBC materials. Obviously, you can also already be flipping classic materials, but now you have all of the TBC ones as well. Herbs, generally a really good target to flip. Enchanting materials, cooking materials, ores. The rep tokens, incredible flip targets on Fairy Signets and a Mark of Sergeras. This is really, really good. So all of these are very, very good to have in your inventory, and definitely something you should start doing. Obviously, they're going to be very, very annoying to deal with a slow auction house, but that's just something you have to do. But this can be extremely profitable over time. Like I can buy all these 58 or 51, and I can for sure sell them for like 70 silver, making 10 silver per. So that's going to be 5 gold profit just from buying out this one auction. Yeah, now the other market you can go into a little bit more easy now, particularly if you have primal nethers, is these crafted epics. You can see now Girdle of Ruination was very, very expensive to get into early. Now you can get the recipe for like 500 gold, and the materials aren't that expensive. So this is something that is like, people will reasonably buy this on the auction house, and if you have the primal nethers, you can craft these potentially for a profit and make some gold that way. There's a lot of recipes like this, and they are a lot more viable now than they were early expansion where they were kind of prohibitively expensive unless you were something who is like really, really hardcore gold maker. Another market that stays good is the previous crafted items. So you can see here Bracers of Havoc. They're selling for like 166, 167 gold. I just posted some. So we're still looking at a reasonable profit margin, and they generally sell a lot better than people think long term. I've made a lot of gold long term just selling catch-up gear to people, getting back into the game or gearing up alts. People are always playing. There's always more characters to sell to. Generally speaking, one of my favorite market types throughout every WoW expansion I've played. So I would very, very strongly suggest that you focus on the previous and get some more recipes available. Obviously, I haven't played that much TBC since Midnight come out, so I don't have that many recipes, but yeah, there's a lot of value there. And then the last thing is to stay flexible. Like, gold makers move around, they focus on whatever the highest profit is right now, and that means they forget what was high profit 3 weeks ago. But if the items are still useful to some people, you can probably make gold with it. So that's why you should try to broaden out, get some more professions leveled up, get access to some more entry-level gearing recipes, some more consumables, maybe some more enchants like leg enchants and stuff like that. And then craft all of them. Have everything available. Even if it's not selling like for a huge profit right now, maybe just keep it in your bags. Restock consistently across many different markets, and then you just sell them when the profit is high. If you have 20 different previous pieces, one of them is going to be have been reset. As you can see here, the minimum buyout value in the tooltip is saying that this is 191 gold, so someone did recently reset the market for Bracers of Havoc, or the auction house ran out a little bit, and they were more expensive. So if you have everything, you will take advantage of that kind of stuff happening naturally. And then you can take advantage of the fact that not everyone, like no one can be everywhere at once. There are going to be underserved markets at any given time. And if you have a little bit of a foot in each of them already, you can take advantage and make the gold there. So yeah, that's it. That's how you sort of survive the steady state of the expansion. Generally speaking, my favorite time, honestly, I really like to just like do the restock, do your routine, craft everything that you've sold since the last time you restocked, mail it to your banker, run a post scan, and go about your day. Automation, chill, lazy gold making. You don't have to do much. This is the time for it. And even though it might not look like it, or maybe you're a little bit discouraged compared to launch, that's just how it is. It is going to be less gold per item, but you can still make a lot of gold in the lower outside of peak activity. So just dive in and have fun.